Hi everyone, I wanted to make a quick tutorial on how I am doing passwords. It kind of came to me when I was doing some banking stuff that I don't think I've really ever covered password security, and with the UK stepping into kind of online censorship in absolute overload, I really thought it'd be wise to do a kind of tutorial on it. Now I use something called Proton Pass. The the reason I can recommend Proton is not sponsored in any way. I just use their services, and I really like the privacy aspect and what Proton are doing. So I use Proton, and I don't actually know a single password of mine. So I don't have any passwords that I actually know. Not my banking, not my Gmail, nothing. And the reason, if I don't know it, then it's hard for someone else to know it. That you have to look at all aspects of your security. So I've just created a new account on Proton, and I'm going to let me refresh. I think I can sign in. So I've created a new account with Proton Mail or Proton, and that automatically signs you up to use Proton Pass. It has an extension which you can use, and a really good feature about it is if you create a login. So I think I can find a form online to basically fake a login creation. So this is just a test form that you can use to basically test a password manager. So automatically it's going to say, do you want to use your email, or do you want to use a relay or a different type of email, and it will actually hide that email address. So it's given me one here. For this one, because it's just a test, I am going to use this email address, and then what it will do is give me a hash password. So this is a completely random password that basically for this site, and then it'll pop up and say, and automatically save it before I've kind of registered. That way it's already in there and I don't need to remember it. The only password that I have somewhere else outside of this is, which is also in a secure place, is my one password for this Proton Manager. That's it. So as far as passwords are concerned, the only one that I actually remember is the Proton password. And then, I'm not going to save it because it's just a test password, but it's then created obviously an array of a string that has all the data in, just to check that the password manager is working. And you can do this with a lot of stuff. You can do usernames. Again, the reason I kind of stay away more from using browser-based password managers, although they are getting more secure, I found it difficult that it doesn't work on Android. So really, you should have one password manager that works on Android, iOS, Brave, Chrome, whatever it is you're using. It should work on all of them. Proton does, which is why I really like using Proton Password Manager. It's a case of going through all of your passwords that you've ever done, and you can do that in your Google account if you're using Google, finding all the weak passwords, deleting them. It's a bit of a hassle, but it does help with the online security aspect. And like I said, if I don't know any of my password, then hackers and people like that don't know it either. So it's practicing good OPSEC and the way that you would penetrate an account. And even if there's a data breach, which there's lots of data breaches, if I do a search for data breaches, so we're going to go for July, so this is the most recent. World leagues, let me try and find some big companies in here. So one of the big ones like LinkedIn, 700 million users were affected. Facebook, data breaches, these are huge. MySpace is pretty much gone now, but it's still, I know I've basically done have I been pwned, and it comes back saying that I have. So when I was doing university, I had to use Z Library to basically find a lot of my books, a lot of my online books, and then it's come back saying that I've basically been exposed in a data breach back then. And if I do some other accounts that I've got, So this is an account that I've had since school, you know, and this is about 20 odd years ago. I've had 20 odd years I've had this account, hence the name, which is just a bit of a, they used to call me it in school, that's why. And you can see all of the data breaches that I've basically been a part of, and that's just with this one email address, you know. So yeah, that's the MySpace space breach, the Adobe breach, white paper. There's a lot. And then you can see obviously the email that I've just created there won't. I think this is why using the feature that comes with Proton, they create hide my alias. Now I pay for Mozilla Relay, so I use this quite a lot. And this is probably one of the cheapest that I found, which is, I think it's £12 a year. So I actually bought Mozilla Relay on a deal, and it was basically £12 for 3 years or something like that, and it was a really good deal I got. But I pay for this, so I then use some of these email address. I found this really useful for getting software trials. So there are companies that give software trials, and sometimes when I've got a job for photographing or something like that for a wedding, and I need to use some proprietary software, I found that I can sign up for a trial and be able to use the software and then finish that job. My plan is to buy the software. It's just they're so expensive, it's unbelievable. You know, £300-400 for software, I think is just a bit too much. I have used in the past different software. I go to Gamers Outlet, and there's actually quite a lot of software on here that I've bought. And yeah, again, there's the VPN products which I've shared with you guys in the past. There's also Windows keys and all sorts of stuff, and they do a really good job at keeping the cost a little bit lower. But a lot of the software that I like to use, like the Photo Lab, they never give third-party resellers a chance to sell their keys, so it becomes more difficult to buy software like that. And obviously I don't promote kind of cracking software or anything. I don't really think that's very good in the long term. So I would be interested to know what your password managers are, and how are you practicing good OPSEC. I will have a video coming on the new UK law, and also another video on why I've kind of closed down most of my home lab. I think that's a real interesting one, so definitely keep tuned for that. But yeah, I'll see you very soon.